Hello and welcome to Heart Healing Conversations with Dawn and Janna. Today we are going to talk about how when we numb our emotions, when we numb the painful ones, we also numb the positive emotions, the joy. And I want to read a quote to you because this really resonates with me, and it's from Brené Brown. We cannot selectively numb emotions. When we numb the painful ones, we also numb the positive emotions. And, this really resonates with me. I know so many times it's difficult to look at the pain that's in our heart. But the fact is when we're trying to numb ourselves, we end up numbing everything. And so we just go through life without experiencing the joy and happiness that we desire.
Yeah, I love that quote. We do numb everything. You don't, like it says, selectively get to choose. Okay, I'm not going to feel the anger anymore, but I'm going to feel more happiness. I think when you get down and out and the grief and all the sad things are taking over, you truly do kind of get to a place where you don't feel that you're capable of feeling any of the good emotions either. So it's amazing to hear it from somebody else's perspective versus just how I've personally felt that.
Well, and I think that, when we're going through really difficult times and we don't know how to deal with our pain and our emotions and we're numbing them, we're not realizing that our emotions are coming out in other ways. It's the anger that we express towards others, like you and I have talked about many times. We react to our partners or our kids or our parents, and we don't know where those emotions are coming from because in the moment we're not experiencing something, an interaction that is evoking those, but yet they're coming out of us. And so it's a great reminder that we can try to repress things, but it's all still there. It's just hiding behind the door, waiting to come out.
Yeah, and it seems like unfortunately the more years that we try to hide and the more we suppress, the more we don't realize we have to deal with until it comes out without us wanting it to come out. Um,
Mhm.
I know in my experience, I had no idea how much I wasn't feeling about anything in life until I started doing some healing work, trying to work through some of the things that were causing me so much grief. And then it was like a whole new landscape started opening up in my brain. And suddenly I could remember a few new childhood memories. And it's like, holy cow, I completely forgot about this. And it kind of gave me a new sense of joy being able to find some of those old memories, not even realizing that I had lost them.
Yeah, I agree. Because when we experience pain and then we try to repress it and it's coming out, well, it's the pain that's coming out, but we are so focused on it, laser focused, that we do forget those good things, those moments and those memories with the people that we love that were positive. And I know we can also realize, like this happened in my life, is I looked back and I was like, wow, there were so many times where I didn't allow myself to be joyful, to enjoy the moment, to smell the roses, because I was so focused on my emotions that were, in my mind, less than positive. It was the anger, it was the disappointment, it was, I'm a victim. And so I took the gift of joy away from myself. And it wasn't until I started accepting my emotions and what came with them and where they came from that I was able to get back to my joy again.
Yeah, like I said earlier, sometimes it kind of gets to where we don't feel that we are worthy of feeling joy because, well, there's so much pain and this is all I've been handed. I must be set to live my life completely miserable forever now, that like this is all I know. So joy can be one of those scary ones. I saw a quote here a while back. I can't remember what it is. I'll have to look it up now. But talking about how, as grievers, that's what we're really trying to open ourselves up to, is not how do I truly deal with all this pain? Like, I know how to deal with that. I do that every day. I'm trying to find out how I can allow the good and the joy to come back into my life, and it's okay.
Hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I talk about this all the time just because different chapters of our life were painful and less than what we'd hoped they would be. That doesn't equate to our whole book. Like we have more chapters to write in our story. And so it's important to remember that who we were yesterday isn't who we are today. I mean, we kind of reinvent ourselves all the time, right? Because we grow through the different experiences we encounter in our lives.
Yeah, we do. I guess one question I've really had from a couple of clients here lately is, but even though I'm offered this opportunity to have a whole new chapter or even writing a whole new book, how do I know it's right for me? How do I know that moving forward this direction is what I'm supposed to do? It's like, as grievers, if we don't have a clear roadmap, then we're not okay with even trying.
Right. Well, it's scary, and
Yeah.
especially for those of us who have spent our life in chaos, because that's what becomes very familiar and comfortable. I mean, comfortable isn't really the right word for it, but it's uncomfortable for there to be calm. And so thinking about reinventing our life and creating a new vision causes discomfort because at least in the chaos, we know what to expect, more chaos,
Yes.
right? But when things are calm, we don't know what to expect. We're waiting for the shoe to drop. I remember that growing up in an alcoholic home. It was like, okay, well, how is the addict going to come home today? Is there going to be a fight between my parents? I mean, it's a constant being on alert,
Yeah.
waiting for something to happen.
Being comfortable in the negative, in the known, in the chaos, like you said, and moving to the unknown. I know just in my anxiousness and trying to work through all of my anxiety issues, that even today can still be a hard struggle because my brain does want to grasp onto that. Oh, well, this happened, this happened, this happened. So that has to mean that this is going to happen again. And you really have to sit down with yourself and say, okay, why is this actually pulling up these emotions again? And no, it's okay. We're safe. We're not in that environment. And I get to choose how I move forward, dealing with not only the feelings that I'm feeling now, but changing it so that they don't continue to come up.
Mm. My husband always says, and I love this statement, that was then, I
Mm,
am different now.
yes.
And I'm so happy that you shared with everybody, what you can still experience these days because it's a great reminder to everyone. It doesn't matter how much healing we've done, we have a lifetime of patterns and ways that we've walked our life. So when things get uncomfortable, we're naturally going to go back to what we used to do, how we used to feel until we pause. Oh, wait, I'm different now. I don't need to go back there in my head. I don't need to think that the worst is going to happen because I have new tools. But it doesn't just go away. That those parts of us, I think, are stuck in ourselves. Like our cells remember all this stuff.
Yes.
And so, to just be gentle with yourself, like you and I always talk about, because, we're always evolving, we're always growing, but we're not going to forget the things that we experienced earlier in life.
Absolutely. Like I said, even here lately, having little bouts of anxiousness pull up, I have found just using some of the tools of literally voicing out loud to myself, I choose joy, or just
Mhm.
some little reminder that says that it's okay for me to look on the positive side and to try and feel the good emotions versus going backwards into those old spirals.
Yeah, that's really important. And it's hard to do, especially when we haven't really looked at those emotions that we have carried inside for so long. But once we do, we're able to really reflect and notice what's going on in our body and in our mind, because as you know, our body reacts to our emotions.
Oh, yeah, so many ways. I guess this is one of those great reminders for our listeners, too, is that, you know, we are still healing. We are still learning new tools ourselves to kind of help us navigate things differently because life changes every day for all of us. And it's
Mhm.
important to see that we're still defining ourselves as grievers and we're still working on ourselves, but we also know the importance of doing that work.
Mhm.
And especially when I'm the most busy and I don't want to do that work, like I don't have time for this, that is exactly when I need to take that time and do it because otherwise I overload myself and then you blow up and you feel like you're okay, now I got to start over. Well, it's not really starting over, but being able to move forward without having those explosions is a huge thing.
Mhm. Yeah, what a great reminder that we're all human. I mean, I think many of us in the helping profession and those of us that are coaches and stuff sometimes really get down on ourselves when we're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, just because we've done a certain amount of work doesn't mean we're never going to have emotional pain. It doesn't mean we're never going to struggle. We're human. So, just allowing ourselves to be okay with the fact that we're not going to be perfect, and that's okay. And, being honest with other people, this is what I'm experiencing right now.
I think we've talked about this a couple times before, the importance of building that circle around you
Mhm.
of trust and kind of the uplifting circle so that when you have these kind of days, even in the healing realm here where we're helping other people, it's important for us to have people to go to too, where we can say, you know what, I'm having kind of a rough day, do you mind listening?
Mhm.
All of us need that.
Yeah, I think where we really run into problems is when we think because we're in the helping profession, we're supposed to be fine all the time, which we've talked about. Fine is feelings inside not expressed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we go down that slippery slope of, beating ourselves up with, numbing ourselves, stuffing that emotional pain in a corner when really what we need to do is just be emotionally honest. It's okay. Like our lives are forever evolving. We're going to experience change, loss, grief. That's just a part of life. But when we learn ways to deal with it that are healthier, then we notice it outwardly in our life.
Absolutely. That's, I think, when you get on the side where you can get your brain to look for at least one good thing in each day. Early starting on, it seems awkward and hard to just pick one thing. You know, it might be something as simple as I woke up today or I did my laundry today. But then after you get your brain kind of in that gear of looking for that one thing, it seems a little bit easier to find a second thing. And then
Hmm.
a little bit easier to find the third thing. And sooner or later, you're going to have your mind in that cycle where, you know, every day before you go to bed, you can easily name 5 things to be grateful for today.
Yeah,
And
practice
that's
makes perfect.
a huge win because you started where one was hard to come up with. Sometimes
Right.
it's those little wins that are so amazing.
Yeah, and especially when if you found yourself just in that negative spiral of, the victim thinking, the everything's going wrong, nothing's good in my life. it's very, very easy to get stuck there. It's a vicious cycle. And when you can finally, look out, peek out the window and, oh, wow, look at that. I have some beautiful flowers growing in my yard, just as an analogy, just changing that focus a little bit, but also being okay with, I am going to sit with my emotions, whether I view them as positive or negative. That's really important because again, we have to be honest because
Yes.
when we numb our emotions, we just numb everything in our life and we aren't able to look at the good that surrounds us.
I know I found one other good tip for those listening. If you can't be so emotionally honest, kind of outwardly sharing your feelings with other people, journal. If you can be
Yes.
honest with yourself, writing it down, I mean, it's something you can hide, nobody else is going to see, but at least being honest with yourself in the form of writing it down, there is such power in that connection from going from what I'm feeling and thinking in my brain to actually writing it down.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting because I used to journal quite a bit. And around the time I went through my divorce, and when I would look back, I was amazed at like how much I'd grown.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I was really stuck during this period of time. And look where I am today. Look at the things that are going on in my life, all the positive things. And I could see that. So sometimes it's really good to be able to look back or think back to where we started and where we are now. It inspires us.
Yeah, I think, again, like we said, just have some grace with yourself. Understand you're going through things. Life isn't always easy.
Mhm.
Being able to look back on like those journals and everything, like pick that one day win and just run with it. Just, you know what? Look at how far I've come. That's an amazing thing. Not many people are willing to even just see a small thing as a win. And I really would like to encourage our listeners, anything, no matter how small or how big, use it as a win and use it to help get to the next spot.
I would agree. I mean, I think so often we focus on the big step, but the big step is sometimes the whole staircase. What's the
Mm-hmm.
first step? It's getting out of bed, it's taking a shower, it's, reaching out to that person you've been wanting to reach out to forever. I mean, it's all those little things that make the whole staircase. But focusing on the little steps can help us gain the courage to walk all the way up the staircase.
Absolutely. I know, again, early on in my journey when I was so overwhelmed and so anxious, I even had to kind of make the simplest list, like you mentioned, just taking a shower today. Putting
Mhm.
that on a list seems crazy. And people are like, oh my gosh, that's just normal everyday things. But when you're so overwhelmed, you forget these tasks. So, taking a shower, eating, those kind of things. And if you're at that phase, like, congratulations, write that list, no matter how small or how weird it seems that you're putting something on a list, even if it's only two things. And at least get one of those things marked off for today. If it's something as simple as a shower, there's power in that marking it off. Like, you know what? I actually got what I needed done today.
Yeah, that's a great reminder because when we're experiencing any type of grief and emotional pain, first of all, it's hard to even get out of bed sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then our concentration is reduced. It's very, very difficult to remember everything we need to remember to navigate our lives, to concentrate, um, and to just keep taking a step forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, writing things down is a perfect way to help us not only stay on track with what we know we need to do in our life or want to do, but also being able to see I accomplished this today and I feel good about myself. And maybe it's not the ultimate goal to just take a shower or just feed myself, but you know what? Today it's good enough. Like, let things be good enough when you're struggling during really rocky times in your life and where there's grief involved. Let it be enough because this isn't going to be your whole life. This is today and maybe it's tomorrow. but focus on the short term because the short term is going to be what helps you get to the long term.
Hmm.
And while you're, being gentle with yourself, allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to express your emotions, whether it's to someone else or whether it's journaling, because that also is going to help move you to the other side where you can experience that joy again.
Yeah. Being that this is good enough is a great reminder for the support people in a griever's life, too. Sometimes we try to overwhelm by, hey, can I help with this? Or can I help with this? Or, oh, you don't need to worry about this, and throwing too many things at people. So I think it's a good reminder to let them know as a griever, if you're helping them, to just throw in the, hey, you know what? I'm proud of you. You got up, you got your shower. That's good enough for today.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that.
That support sometimes can be all that somebody needs. That positive reinforcement of what I'm doing is okay.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that we've provided some really good reminders for people today. I just want to remind everyone to be gentle with yourself. Want to remind you you're not alone. You can reach Jana or myself by looking at the show notes. Both of our contact info is down there. And if this conversation resonated with you, we'd love if you subscribe to the channel and share it with those that you love. And with that, we will see you next week. Thanks, friends.